When I finally left London again, I didn't expect my cruise to take so long. I was loath to leave Marina. She and I grew closer by the day. However, I had a few errands to run, you might say. My chef and my doctor both wanted mutter salt from Whiter, so I decided to gain some, if only to aid in their quests, you might say. Along the way, I stopped by in Venderbite and traded in my dream snakes that I had gained from my mechanic's dreams for an oddly bejeweled mask. I've no idea what the curator wanted with such abominations, but they seemed to glow with an otherworldly color. He called them Viric. He claimed that they would be free soon, but not before him. An odd man, indeed. I headed to Whiter to get some mutter salt, but the blasted fools! They speak only in questions and trade only in riddles and stories. I had yet to gain the experience I needed to buy the mutter salt, and in that icy realm that was the only place I could get it. I had heard tales of Irem, the land of secrets and tales, the land of pillars and roses, where dreams and reality intersect. Perhaps there I might be able to find some stories worthy of these blasted questioners. Along the way, again, I was fortunate. My favorite delicacy, now becoming a regular. I found more tyrant moth antenna, and the taste was so succulent and delicious in my mouth. It makes journeys like this all worthwhile. I stopped by at Palmerston. Hell seems to be getting quite friendly. The Lady Deviless was moved by my gift of souls to her last time, and made a rather odd request. Odd, I say, because devils tend to manipulate, not plead. She's almost like a friend now. Her hands shook as she poured me the tea, and requested that I visit the brass embassy in London. The embassy is the official representation of the Iron Republic. She wants to return. She misses her home. The grim machinations of hell seem to have finally become too little for her to bear. She wants to go back to a place where there is sulphur and salt and souls in the air. While I was in Palmerston, I traded some souls with an unusual man for some Admiralty information. It did me well. Now, I am a bit confused, you might say. I traveled through the different wastes of Palmerston on my way to Irem, and we came across a solitary house covered in wicker candles, almost like a church to some ancient god. I am cautious of going there, but my navigator insists, for the sigil on his head grows worse every day. I found a grinning priest there at this place he called the Chapel of Lights. He offered us a great bounty. I must say I was a bit unsettled by the man. He seemed to know a bit more than he was telling. We ate well, and the red meat was delicious, dribbling down my cheeks and my lips as I tasted, but my stomach, it almost seemed to scream out, no. We could not take any with us, and I began to feel a sense of loathing from the banquet. I have to say, the priest's requests did not alleviate my feelings. To learn my navigator's secrets, he wanted flesh. Flesh that he might actually feed to his congregation. At first I thought he meant Z-beasts, of which I had killed many and taken their flesh, but he wanted something different, something live. Be it beast, or he whispered to me something about missing men, those who were no longer seen on watch. A shudder went through my skin, and I exited the Chapel of Lights. I might come back again, for I have friends who need help, but it will not be willingly. After visiting the chapel, I decided to take tea with the squatters of Frostfound. They are good people, and always love a good story about that castle. The mechanic, who had so been eager to get away from there, with his dreams clear, he wanted me to help him find the secret he had placed there when I had taken him onto my ship. I admit I was a bit uneasy. The squatters, though grateful of a new story to tell, were also bidding their farewells to me. I tried to pay it little mind. The captain could not be seen as weak to his crew. I entered the first chamber. It was adorned with a massive sapphire and seemed to glow, almost as if it was something otherworldly. The sapphire seemed to boom into my head. I am what once was the sky. I did not know what to say or what to do. Yet the sky seemed to ripple. What was the sky? All I had seen of above was the neath ceiling. The countless lights, almost like stars. Was the sky like that? I stepped into the sky and lost a piece of myself. In the amethyst chamber, I found ancient carcasses of mammoth sea creatures, the size that would make my ship less than an ant to them. I found myself almost overwhelmed with terror. However, there was nothing but to do but embrace my fear, embrace my agony, and walk forward through the countless corpses. I felt a bit of myself staying behind as we went. The red honey of memories was next. There was a cavity filled with it, almost glowing like rubies. I embraced the terror of my memories without fear and lost another piece of myself. The wind whistled in an emerald chamber, and I watched it howl and replied, giving myself up to it. My heart was wavering, fearful. I had given so much of myself to this place. Would there be any left to take back? I finally found myself on the diamond bridge from the Isle of Bright to Teneb, where the true secrets of Frostfound lay. It built upon me, and I lost one last piece of myself as I forced myself across that bridge with my mechanic in tow. There was an iridescence up ahead, a fog that seemed to hide the truth of all things, of myself. I thought I saw my shadow move within the fog, and I thought I saw something unearthly. The mechanic reached into the fog and pulled out a pig. This was the secret he had been looking for? He told me some story of his imagination being literal, and yet... No matter. I had given so much of myself I was not willing to give any more. Together we retreated from Frostfound. The squatters welcomed us with a warm cup of tea and some nice supplies. They finally had a new story. Someone who'd entered that accursed castle and lived to tell the tale. The tale of Solarus, the Sea Captain.